Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Super Cup Series as we're here for the second points race here of the 2024 season. Of course, my name is Brian Britt. I have Big Al as my broadcast partner here tonight. We got a producer down behind the cameras, Kobe Jordan, going to be taking care of all of the work behind the scenes. We definitely appreciate him, but man, I think we got a good one here tonight, Big Al. I mean, Atlanta Motor Speedway, or otherwise dubbed Atlanta Super Speedway. And of course, we came coming off of a pretty hot race last week at Daytona, but this one's going to be pretty interesting too. 250 miles, the fall in 250 at Atlanta, 163 lap stages are going to be 35 and 75. Of course, 3 sets of tires down in the pits. Fuel window 67 laps. Big Al, what you thinking about this track? Have you raced here before?
Yeah, I have raced here, Brian, and unfortunately, I don't have a lot of fond memories. Sure, I mean, this track has only been in circulation right now for us 2 years in its current configuration, and it comes with mixed reviews because it's a 1.5 mile super speedway, man. I mean, I still don't know how I feel about it.
I'll tell you, it's kind of grown on me a little bit. I mean, I remember last time we were here, I thought it was actually pretty fun to watch and is also to participate in races in the officials that week. But I do love Old Atlanta a lot more, the 2008 scan on iRacing. I enjoy that a lot more. It's a lot more finesse, I'd say, more skill it takes. But this is definitely skill based as well. You're
And
going to
it's a
have to be careful at this racetrack.
and it's a new form of racing, so not just Big Al, but everybody that comes into this super speedway with 1.5 miles, 1.52 miles to be exact. It's a different type of race. It's a different type of bump. It's a different type of draft. You just don't have those long straightaways that garnish the speed, but yet you never really slow down. So everybody has just really got to cut their teeth on this, man. But I'm super excited for the fall in 250.
Yeah, me too, for sure. And, awesome name to the race as well as I think Chris James is out on the racetrack putting in some time, try to get himself a good qualifying lap. Let's see if that works out good for him. Very interesting Ford he's got there. I do believe, I don't recognize the team. I think that might be Beast Mode Motorsports. I'm not sure. But we do have a whole lot of new drivers that have shown up
Lots
here
of new
tonight.
drivers that are actually in the field here tonight, which is going to be even more exciting. Big things happening here in the ISCA as we begin season 1, 2024, man. It's taken us a long time to get here. We've got a brand new Ford car, brand new Toyota product as well. Lots of changes with the setups, even the way the cars feel and handle. So this whole season, man, it's just up for grabs. Plus, a lot of new teams even evolving in the ISCA.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a lot of new people showing up here. You see Matt DeCiani, Derek Heitman making their way into the series this week. So glad to see them out there for sure. Miller Bond's back in action. Cody Colley, the 84. We haven't seen him in a little bit, so glad to see him back in action. But a lot of drivers that are showing up. Kyle Holden was, I do believe, a substitute driver last week for Randy Mullins. Looks like he's actually going to be running full time this season. So glad to see that for sure. Let's take a quick look, though, at the points after last week's race at Daytona International Speedway. That was the first points race. Let's see exactly what it looks like. It looks like Frank Flores. He's at the top of the board. How is that possible?
What?
He must have got all the stage points. We told, hey, Big
It's
Al, did
about
we
where
not
you
say?
finish. Yeah, we're going to talk about that this week as well. But wow, Frank Flores is your ISCA points leader. Hey, way to go, Frank.
That's right. Brian Johnson sits in second place. Mark Sanchez is in third with the win last week. I do believe that was actually his second win, but first win this season. What a way to start the season. Eric Kling, he's sitting fourth. Don't see him actually in the race here today. Fifth place, Joshua Daniels. Sixth, Derek Jacobs. Seventh, Greg Wachinski. Eighth, Blair Holloman. Ninth, J.C. Evans. And 10th, Shane Parrish. So that's a look at the top 10 in the points. But wow. As we were going to say, the points in the stages are incredibly, incredibly important, and clearly,
Yeah,
clearly they are. I mean, it looks like we got some more qualifying out there on the racetrack. I do believe that is the 48. And I do believe that's another one of our newer drivers. Jose Medina showed up last week. I do believe that was his first race. So we'll see what he can do here. Qualifying, going to be a curious thing. We know super speedway racing, usually qualifying not that important. I'm curious, is it going to be important here?
Well, I mean, number one, you're saying something you never said before. You're saying the Atlanta Super Speedway, not just the Atlanta Motor Speedway, but the Atlanta Super Speedway. And that's huge when it comes to not only where you qualify, because that's going to make a big difference in getting in and off of pit road, but it's also going to determine how you feel in the pack. Because, Brian, once this thing gets started, these guys are going to have to feel each other out in the field. And I'm going to tell you, if you're up front and you get bounced around a little bit too much, if you're in the middle and you're not ready for it, I mean, it's going to really dictate how your night's going to go.
100%. Well, I think now's a great time. We'll go ahead and take a step away. We'll play our national anthem, pay some attention to all of our sponsors, and we'll be right back with our starting grid.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Super Cup Series. Here we are getting ready to get everything going here for tonight's race. Looks like we got the grid all set, and we're going to take a look from top to bottom here. Of course, Brandon Pasalakwa is going to be starting on the pole position here tonight with a 31.129. Brian Johnson starts in second, so that is a paradigm 1-2-3 with Randy Mullen starting in third place. Miller Bonds is going to be in fourth place with Mark Sanchez starting in fifth. Derek Heitman is going to be qualified in sixth place. Greg Wachinski, seventh place. Tanner Marty in eighth. Matt DeCiani is going to be starting in ninth. And 10th place is Kenny Powell.
That's going to put Shane Parrish in 11th with Dalton Mobley in 12th. 13th place shows Chris D. Johnson and Jose Medina. 15th place shows a Randy Belk with J.C. Evans along his outsides. 17th place, Jay Hone with Blair Holloman in 18th. 19th place shows Randy Drumhiller with Darren Mullins on his outside.
21st, Frank Flores. 22nd starts Chris James. 23rd, Jeffrey Ford. 24th is going to be Alexander Carr. 25th, Cody Colley. 26th, Greg Carr. 27th, David Centini. 28th is Evan Longacre. 29th, Kyle Holden. 30th, Paul Olson. 31st, Big Al's favorite driver, John Binder. 32nd is Derek Jacobs. Ignore my name. I accidentally registered for this race. Do not say anything about it.
No, that's my favorite driver. My favorite driver right there, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than the 997 of Brian Britt. Going to be calling him out a lot here tonight, as well as through the rest of this series, since he is now officially a registered driver. Race car's off and away, getting ready to kick this thing off as the lead cars take us through that Geico restart zone.
Yep, Brandon Pasalakwa going to lead us there. Green flag is out for the first time. He launches. What a good jump there for him as we see. Let's see what the Paradigm drivers do. Do they get lined up? And it looks like they will as the 4 of Brian Johnson drops down behind the 6. We're seeing some big pushes coming from Miller Bonds. I should say Derek Heitman to the rear end of Miller Bonds as they exit turn 2.
This is going to feel a little bit different, Brian, because drivers are going to be jockeying for the long haul. On those super speedways, first you want to get set up. Now you're going to be just trying to stay out of the melee.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be key, trying to stay out of the melee, especially at a track like this. Well, even though we call this a super speedway, this is still a mile and a half, so there's not as much, you're not going to be doing a lot of bump drafting through the corners, that's for sure. So you're going to have to be really, really careful on who you push and make sure you're comfortable pushing them and being able to predict their line. As we see the top 2 Paradigm drivers, top 3 actually, have now single filed out. Miller Bonds going a little bit high up on the track. That could possibly lead to Derek Heitman trying to cut underneath. Mark Sanchez, who won last week, he's up in the top 10 already, up to 6th, but he doesn't have a whole lot of help from Greg. Wachinski gets really close as Sanchez got really close to Heitman there. That was a scary situation.
Sanchez now going to jockey for position on the bottom line. He is going to set himself up, being secured, having his G&G teammates all around him, with Kenny Powell going to be sitting high. Greg Wachinski right behind him in that pusher position. But up front, the story stays the same. Paradigm. Those guys aren't shifting at all, Brian. They're just shifting gears. And looks like they just got the sun setting right in their eyes.
Yeah, it looks like that top groove, that middle to top groove seems to be the place they want to be. And I think that's where you're going to want to be. I mean, as the run goes on, as the race goes on, your tire wear is probably going to make it to where it's very difficult to run the bottom side. You're going to start to get tight. I think tightness is going to be something we're going to see a lot of tonight, as we do see Sanchez starting to make some running on that bottom. He's now entered the top 5 side by side with Heitman.
That bottom line is going to take shift because it's got to be relevant. You're going to see 3 wide races before this thing is over. As these guys are they got to figure it out. They're going to bang, they're going to shift. Some of them are going to start to pull down. But right now, everybody's wanting to stay high. Looks like for the time being, though, you got about 4 or 5 drivers that are just committed to being down low. And we'll be able to see how it's going to affect them in the long run.
Well, think about this, Big Al. The reason you want to run that high side at a track like this is a mile and a half. This is not a track like Daytona that's 2.5 miles where you can kind of unwind the wheel a little bit more. this is the track that you're going to have to cut that wheel a lot when you're on that bottom. So when you're on the top, you don't have to cut it quite as much, and there's more valuable momentum up there.
Yeah, the less that the less degrees that you're turning that wheel, the less you're shoving on speed, the less you're wearing those good years down. So you're absolutely right. You want to be up top, putting minimal inputs into that wheel, and just letting that car kind of take the high line around, because this track has a significant bank input.
Yeah, that it does for sure. You're going to have to be really, really careful when it comes to not turning the wheel too much, because that could lead to premature tire wear as well. As Brandon Passalacqua is still in control. Bottom line has started falling back more and more here, as we've also seen a lot of guys further back in the pack have somewhat spread it out. It seems like a lot of drivers just not wanting to pounce on positions at the moment. Of course, we do have, I do believe, a little bit less than now 30 laps until the end of this stage. This stage does end on lap 35, going to 36.
Yeah, early on, and here it is. You're seeing that bump start to happen on the bottom. A lot of guys just don't want to sell out, man. I think it would be easier if they were to just go high, but right now you got that bottom line. They're trying to make themselves stay relevant. Brian, as we get down to maybe 10 to go, you're going to see the guys more up front, especially if you're not aligned with teammates, start to come down and try to make those two lines be a little bit more even.
And we were talking about 3 wide. I think that's definitely something we're going to see. We might even see 5 wide later in this race, especially on the front
I'm not ready for that.
I'm telling you, I've seen it already this week in some of the officials, some of the screenshots of the finishes that I've seen in officials this week. And they are capable of going 5 wide, going across the start-finish line. But they're not able to do that in the corners and on the backstretch. So that's something we're going to really have to watch out for. It seems like, look at that, you can almost only make it about 2 wide, and if you go 3 wide, that's pushing it in the corners and on the backstretch.
Yeah, and right now you don't want to be that guy. Nobody wants to be that guy that actually causes the calamity. But it's going to happen. Somebody's going to overreach. That's the word I'm going to use. That's going to be the word of the night.
Yeah.
Someone's going to overreach, Brian, and they're going to cause a little bit of a snafu. Now, what's the over-under on cautions tonight? Last week you called it at 5, so I'm asking you tonight because the Vegas and the bottom line need to know. What's the over-under on cautions for us
That's
here?
a tough one. I don't know. I'm going to go with 3 that are not based on the stage. I'd say that, so I'm going to go with that. Now, I'm really impressed with what we're seeing on this bottom line. They are starting to really get some momentum built here. Mark Sanchez got a fast race car underneath him right now. One thing we talked about earlier, Big Al, before the broadcast even began, we were kind of talking about what will happen if an accident does, kind of break out at this racetrack. And most of the time with tracks like this, I mean, if you get in an accident, it's probably going to end your race, especially because of how, I'd say narrow these exits to these corners are. I mean, if you wreck outside out of the corner, you're going to end up hitting a wall. That's more than likely. And you're going at probably 180 mile an hour. That means your car is probably going to be toast. So if we do see accidents, they're probably going to be race enders.
Yeah, but you understand that. That's one of those factors. That's one of those acceptance things that you have to take into consideration when you're racing on the super speedway. Now that this track is a super speedway, it's not one of those tracks where you're allowed to go out there and beat and bang the car up. Aerodynamics is going to be everything, because it might not look like it, but these cars are draft-centric. That's why they're being pushed around so much. That's why that bottom line is having so much of a hard time trying to stay in line, because you got the wall and you got all of those cars, and that air is just buffeting everything in between. It's just like being kind of thrown into a dryer.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. Especially everybody that's behind Mark Sanchez right now is definitely feeling a lot of the air that is coming off of that 29, and as well as the top line. The top line is putting air on the bottom line as well. So that is causing havoc on these race cars. 15 laps in, though, and we haven't really seen a whole lot of slowing down. It seems like these cars are really handling well on these longer runs. Of course, we're a little bit, I think about 5 laps away from the halfway point in stage number 1. I'm curious to see if this is going to continue to play the same way.
No, I think it's going to change. I think a lot of drivers are going to have to throw their hat in the ring, if you will, and that's not necessarily following the guy in front of you. If you got a car and it's fast, you got a rocket ship, you're starting to understand as we start to run these laps down, you're losing opportunities to get up front into those top 10 point span positions. So you're going to have to make a move. And those moves are probably going to start to happen right about now. So we're halfway through the first stage.
Bottom line is starting to really check up a lot. I think they're starting to find that their cars are starting to get tight.
Yeah, wearing those tires out.
Yeah, I think that's the right front. That's the thing that we're going to see probably the most tire wear on is that right front. Now, maybe some people have setups that are not going to wear the right front quite as much, but we'll have to wait and see if that's going to be the case. But look at that. Sanchez getting an even – wow, I thought that bottom line was going to die, but he just got a huge run.
And I say you want to be down there. You want to bend it like Sanchez and Wachinski, those guys are doing. And plus the Paradigm guys, they got a guy down there as well. Looks like the 56 car.
Yeah.
That's is that Randy?
No, that's Chris Johnson. Remember
sorry. Chris Johnson changed the numbers, slipping in on me. But you want to be down there because that's the data that I want. I want to know if I can truly go down there, hold it to the line, how many laps am I going to be able to do that and truly be able to affect, a fast race car.
Yeah, he has that data to give to these other Paradigm drivers, too.
Absolutely.
You got the 6 and the 4. They're running the high side, and Randy Mullins, he's running the high side. So that gives them information.
Yeah, Kenny Powell, he's been the high side the whole time. So you take that information, you put it together, and it kind of gives you an idea of how many laps you're going to need to balance being low versus how many laps you're going to need to be able to balance being high in order to have a race car at the end of this thing when it matters. End of stage 1, end of stage 2, end of the race.
Yeah, I think we're clearly seeing tire wear is actually affecting these drivers as well. I mean, look at the lap times. They've fallen off about a little over a half a second. Last time by, Brandon Pasalacqua, I should say, hit a 30.458. His fastest lap, 29.884. That's well over a half a second of fall off, and that's not something you expect to see at a super speedway style racetrack.
Absolutely. That drivers are not expecting, because you're out there and you're pretty much able to run it with the throttle pretty much down. You really, if you're in the middle of the pack, you're going to get sucked into the draft, but you're really not worried about tires at a super speedway because you're going to expect to be able to go out there, hold the throttle down and run all around this thing, but you're seeing that is not the case, which is another reason why I just love this setup.
Yeah, I think this shows that even though we call this super speedway racing, it still is a hybrid because there is tire wear. This is not something where you're just going to be able to mash it down the whole way and not have to worry about tire wear. I mean, eventually you are going to have to be concerned with that here as we're on lap 22. Of course, Brandon Pasalacqua has led every lap thus far. Brian Johnson follows in tow, but Mark Sanchez has been really sniffing at possibly entering the top 3. He's now in the top 3 and maybe wants to go side by side for the lead.
And here comes that bottom row, Brian, is those drivers that we've been sitting here waiting to talk about, the J.C. Evans in the group, the Kenny Powells in the group, some of those drivers that are farther back, Randy Drumhiller. Now, this is the time where we're going to start to see if these guys actually got anything to talk about. Coming up almost 10 laps to go here, and that's going to be the thing. I think when we're 10 laps to go, that's go time. And then we'll be able to see who's really going to throw their hat in the ring and say, hey, look, I want to battle with the champions. I want to get some stage points.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mark Sanchez, if he gets some stage points here after winning last week, he's going to set himself up really, really well if he keeps this up for sure. And I think, intensity is going to continue to rise here. Now, the thing is about it, I mean, at a track like this, if the intensity rises like we think it will, at the conclusion of this stage, I mean, we could be wrecking across the start-finish line for Stage 1's victory.
Speaking of wrecking across the finish line, where's Frank Flores?
That's a really good question.
Is our points leader not even present tonight?
No, he is out there on the racetrack. He's actually back in 22nd. So he's fairly deep in this pack. You got to keep in mind, Big Al, from first all the way to Frank Flores is 1.4 seconds. So they are packed in like sardines right now.
Yeah, well, right now, 10 laps to go till the first stage is in the books. This is time to put the hammer down. You're going to see drivers start to jockey their position because they understand right now you're not going to get anything if you are P11 and back. Still, single file racing up front, at least through the top 5. Mark Sanchez trying to figure out his place in the world. Brian, do you think he has enough to make that 29 G&G Chevrolet a contender here tonight for the top 5?
Yeah, no, I definitely think he does. I don't know. He falls back, and I think this might have something to do with engine temperature for Greg Wachinski. Wachinski keeps pushing the 29 up there towards the top 5 and then even gets close enough to possibly go for the lead. But something is holding these guys back from actually taking the lead. I don't know if it's got something to do with Greg getting too hot. That's something you do see at super speedway style racing. So watching through the eyes of Sanchez, let's see how he's handling right now as we look at him going through 3 and 4.
A lot of bumping going on up top, not a lot of contact down low, but yet they're still side by side. Not really paying any homage to that red line. I think that bottom line is just seeing red right now, Brian, as it is go time.
Yeah, you could see that Mark gets a lot of speed in the corners because he, of course, has to travel the least amount of distance down there on that part of the racetrack. Now, what you're talking about, when they're going through the quad oval, they do dip a tire down below that red line.
Which
now,
is totally
later,
authorized.
Yeah, that is totally legal. Now, later in this race, I think that bottom below that red is going to get a lot more used because that's going to be the time we'll see guys trying to go 5 wide, I do believe.
Right now, Mark Sanchez doing everything he needs to do as he has got the advantage on the 6th of Brandon Passalacqua. Passalacqua has led every lap up to this, and if you've been watching ISCA, you know that Brandon Passalacqua is no stranger to the lead. The Paradigm guys don't back down from a fight. They're always here wanting to win every night, but man, I love it when it's this time. We're now 5 laps to go in this stage, Brian, that this is where you really pull your britches down and show people what you got, because that's the only way you're going to win this stage is you just got to shred it and just get out there. You're going to have to just let it hang out, brother.
I love what I'm seeing from Brian Johnson. Like he pulls back a little bit in the corners and gets a massive draft up to the back end of the 6th of Brandon Passalacqua to give him a big bump in the straightaway. And that's why they were able to kind of pull away from the 29 there. The 29, I think, kind of scared him a little bit, to be honest. But I do believe they figured out a way to kind of push forward.
We got to mix it up. Somebody is going to have to do something.
Yeah,
I'm really looking at the 12. Come on, 12. Come down for me at least, Bubba.
Yeah, if somebody jumps in front of the 29, that could really make all the difference. And I think the closer we get to the end of this stage, the more likely it is. But it's not going to happen from the Paradigm drivers. I think Randy's going to stay in line. He's going to stay in line.
Yeah, but, I think with the Paradigm guys, like you said, what did you just say? And because you know me, I'm the controversial guy. Randy is going to stay in line. Until Randy decides that one day he wants to race and win himself. He's not going to want to stay in line. Right now, the Paradigm guys are all going to do that. They're going to follow Brandon. They're going to follow Brian. But eventually...
Here we go. Here comes the big move. 3 wide. There goes Derek Heitman. Up top, 3 wide.
It's time. He pushed the issue. The 76 did. The 12 still not wanting to fight just yet.
Into the wall goes Heitman, and he's going to slow down.
Heitman following way back through the Pack 29 car now, going to be able to try to kind of remain in that position, still holding down low with the 12 car being the decider. It's still 1, 2, 3 Paradigm. Here comes the 12. There's the move.
There is. You said it was going to come eventually. Here comes Miller Bonds. He's going to see if he could possibly take the 29 up to the lead here, as I do believe we're coming up to the white flag.
And you saw the 54 car shifted up to the high side. So he was already up there. But this is going to be the tell right here, Brian. Will that bottom line be able to get organized and get some wheels underneath them?
I don't know. This is curious. What does the 29 do? He hasn't pushed anybody this entire stage. Will he be able to push the 12? As here we are coming out of turn number 2 for the final time this stage and getting ready to enter turn 3 and 4. This is where all the magic's going to happen. Does Pasalaco win stage 1? And here we go. Big run from Miller Bonds out of turn 4, and it looks like Pasalaco is going to keep it. Look at him. They all went down on the apron to get as much as they could, but it didn't work.
Trying to just cut off that track there as much as they can. But Brian, I mean, stage 1 and being in the books, let's go through that real quick. Brandon Pasalaco, your stage 1 winner. Brian Johnson in P2. Miller Bonds, Randy Mullins, Mark Sanchez, Tanner Marty, Greg Wachinski, Kenny Powell, Chris D. Johnson, and Matt DeCiani round out your top 10 in those top 10 points paying positions. With that done, let's go ahead and step away, take a brief word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with our stage 1 winner, Brandon Pasalaco.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Butt Kicker Super Cup Series. Of course, we're going to be talking to Brandon Pasalaco, our stage 1 winner. Brandon, we got you up here in the booth, man. How are you? It seems like you guys got a pretty fast race car underneath you.
Yeah, we definitely do. Thanks to Brian, he did a good job with the qualifying setup, and we all run a different race setups, but we're a good team and we work well together, so it's worked out so far.
Definitely seems like it for sure. Now, what has been, why have you guys been running the top side so much? It seems like that seems to be the place to be. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. It's just, you can make up a lot of speed on the bottom, and it might be faster, but the darn side draft, when a car gets to the right side quarter panel, it just stalls out the bottom lane. So we figured coming the race, it'd be best to protect our position if we stayed high. That stage it worked out. We were able to stall the inside line and momentum. So if we can continue to maintain the high line the rest of the way, we will. But if we get stuck on the bottom, we'll rip it from there too.
100%. And definitely didn't mean to pull you in during your pit stop. I forgot all about that.
No, good, man.
I hope I didn't mess you up.
No, you didn't. These guys took right sides and a little less fuel. This track, I mean, your tires do wear here, and after 20 laps, you're going to have to lift off the throttle in the entry. So I'm a guy where I'd rather have stability and comfort throughout the entire run. So 4 tires for me the rest of the way, but these guys can definitely make up some track position taking 2.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like tire where you guys are falling off about a little over a half a second. So that's definitely going to be something that's going to impact you. So no, just right sides only calls later in the race if maybe an impromptu caution comes out that maybe you try to gamble for track position?
Yeah, I mean, if there's less than 20 laps, I'm cool with taking just right sides. But anything more than that, especially in that last stage where you might run, the last stage about 88 laps and you split that in half 44. I mean, I'd rather have tires. There's a high likelihood that you're going to have a late race caution anyway. So I want to be able to maneuver my car and put it where I want with 4 fresher tires.
All right, well, enough of me chatting you up. Who can we shout out and we'll let you get back to it?
Yeah, just the guys at Paradigm Motorsports. It's just a pleasure running with them. We have a lot of fun out here. Good having Randy on the team this year, and hopefully we put on a good show for you guys up in the booth.
All right, Brandon, thanks for your time. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
All righty, that was Brandon Pasalaco, driver of the 6 Machine, won stage number 1. Now, he's going to be behind, unfortunately, I do believe, starting in 4th here as the pace car lights are out.
And that's going to be a big deal right now, Brian, because as we've seen before, track position is everything. And we have not seen any movement from the back of the pack. So short of actually shifting lanes and trying to double down, I think you're just really going to be kind of caught up in traffic. Lights are off on the pace car. He'll be getting the heck up out of the way here pretty soon. We'll be back to green flag racing. Got a little bit of different look up front. Some guys that hadn't been up here before. We see the one of Matt DeCiani. Welcome, Matt, to the front. Randy Mullins is going to be your actual leader. The 66 car as well comes to the forefront. Shane Parrish, can't wait to see what he actually does with his opportunity.
Yeah, 100%. Here comes the pace car down pit road. I do believe Randy Mullins has chosen the top side, if I'm not mistaken. Green flag is back out in the air. Interesting decision from Randy Mullins choosing the top side. Shows which line that the Paradigm drivers definitely want. As there goes Shane Parrish. He jumps up in front of Miller Bonds. Brian Johnson, he is stuck on the bottom. Not a whole lot of help there. As, of course, Matt DeCiani as well. Not a whole lot of help.
Not understanding what the heck just happened on the restart. Looks like a lot of drivers are just probably still sucking on dum-dums and eating ho-hos. but we're back to racing. So we didn't get the field stacked up the way we thought it would. Going to see how that actually affects how it lines up. Now two different groups. You got that lead pack and you got the second pack. And we haven't seen how that works at a track like this because everybody's been together all night, Brian. So going to be super excited to see how the bottom line fares with just 3 parishioners down there.
Yeah, kind of interesting to see this gap that has formed back here. I do believe between 11th and 12th of Greg Wachinski and Darren Mullins. So I wonder if some guys just didn't get a good start here.
We actually called out a gaggle in the military.
Okay, I mean, I could see that being called a gaggle.
That's a
Bottom
gaggle.
line starting to move ahead, though. Brian Johnson being pushed by Mark Sanchez, as well as the 72. This is a driver we haven't talked about. Tanner Marty, he's up in the top 10. Been running up in the top 10 all race long so far, and he's new. Of course, you see him right there in that white and red 72. I do believe that's a Camaro right there. As here comes the 4 of Brian Johnson getting a big run. What do the Paradigm drivers do this time? I mean, they've been running up top all race long, and now Brian's kind of not up there with them.
I think Brian is just going to hold his position at this point, try to get in line. Maybe he stays on the low side because we know that the 29's not going to go high. He's got the 72 as well. So they got a 3-car tandem. Best case, they try to get as close as they can and maybe pull that side draft in, slow that high line down just a little bit so they can gain as much momentum as they can. But other than that, I don't think anybody's going to let you in.
Yeah, I think that's clear. I mean, it seems like track position is incredibly important here. Look at that. The 4 starts to drop back a little bit. Does he jump up top? As Randy Mullins in control of the race here, followed by Brandon Passalacqua.
And I don't think you move as the 4. So as long as the 29 is committed to the bottom line, I think if you're the 4 car, you stay right where the heck you at because you're doing 2 things, Brian. You're running your race and you're dictating theirs.
That's interesting. Now, another thing that's kind of interesting is the top 11 here are running about 0.2 to 0.3 faster than 11th on back, or should I say 12th on back. Looking at Greg Wachinski's last time by 30.059 versus Chris James, who's in. Oh, caution flag is out on the racetrack.
Big whoops. Pace car's going to be coming back out as we try to figure out what just occurred.
And I do believe Dalton Mobley and Frank Flores were stopped on the track.
Ooh, not good for Frank.
And I do believe I see Dalton Mobley has taken a tow off of the racetrack. So that's going to be where we're going to want to look. Is Dalton Mobley in the 7 machine? Here we go. Yep, Dalton. Oh, ooh. Cody Colley, Alexander Carr.
Lots of cars torn up with that one.
Yeah, we're going to have to see exactly what led to that and see if we could possibly get to the root cause of this. But it definitely seems like it originated with the 7 and the 8.
And it looks like the only car, though, that's going to have that dreaded repairs required flag is going to be the 7 car, Dalton Mobley, as we try to uncover to see exactly what took place here.
It's the 7 and the 8.
There it is, the 7 and the 8 as we're watching this.
Yeah, let's see exactly what happened. You see them, they're driving right behind the 19.
The Mobley's the low car, the 19 in that Dodge, that's...
Yeah, we got it at full speed here. Let's see exactly how this happened. You can see, I do believe, oh, Frank got loose.
Comes down, yep.
He got loose off of the corner out of turn 4, comes down into the 7 of Dalton Mobley, and unfortunately,
the 18 also gets loose and comes into the fray. Wow. And that was the 14th car that actually, that was the 4th car that entered the accident.
That's unfortunate. That is just unfortunate.
Well,
You
the
know, there's
fortunate part is everybody's still good to go except for Dalton. Dalton's going to have to go down there and he's going to have to pray and talk to some people and pay some fines. But other than that, he might be able to get back out here tonight, just depending on how significant his damage was. But looks like everybody else, Brian's still going to be good to go.
Yeah, I mean, they might not have meatball flags, but they're probably going to want to get some of that repairs, those taken care of. And I'm glad it wasn't worse than it was, because I mean, if that had happened, you know, a little bit further up in front of the field, that would have been a bigger deal. Because I mean, you know, it's hard to miss crashes at this kind of a track.
Well, yeah, now that puts everybody back together. That's going to be the key thing, because what they just demonstrated is if they don't get a solid start, they're going to get left behind, and you're not going to be able to pull that distance back up in a run of a stage. So now that everybody's back, set back on the same level playing field, you know, go down, get your damage fixed as you can. Looks like we've got the 43 Paul Oceans down, the 84s down, the 7s down.
Yeah, Cody Colley very much trying to get some of that damage repaired. I mean, he has significant front end damage, and we saw him actually getting that repaired. He's coming off of pit road right now.
Surprised. I'm surprised. Ask me what I'm surprised about.
What are you surprised about, Big Al?
I'm truly baffled that more people did not come down for fuel. And the reason why I say this is because if you look at where we're at right now in stage 2, you're not going to lose that much track position if you're not in the top 10, right? But where you gain the advantage is you come and you get fuel, which you don't have to spend as much time getting fuel when you come back down at the end of the stage.
I think I pick up what you're putting down, but it seems like a lot of drivers, I guess, don't want to do that. I mean, of course, we heard even from
we said that. Nobody did.
It seems like Pasalaco even kind of hinted at it before that it seems like taking a 4-tire stop will be the way to go. But maybe, I mean, yeah, I can see what you're saying, because sometimes taking fuel does take longer. So I don't know. That's definitely curious. I mean, could we see somebody maybe?
That's just one dude over the wall out of the way, you know. And then if you're gambling of just taking 2 tires, you don't have to wait on a full fuel stop.
That's true. Here we go. Pace car dipping down pit road as we get ready to go green. As we just had ourselves a caution. Green flag is back out in the air. Andy Mullins up through the gears. And awesome job from the Paradigm drivers. They both are able to kind of time that start just perfectly. Some big pushes coming from Brian Johnson to the rear end of Shane Parrish.
Still a gaggle on the start, Brian. I mean, if you look at this thing, for whatever reason, we're not getting solid starts, and that's really causing the field to kind of separate and break apart. And at a super speedway, I mean, that's almost like you using salt instead of sugar.
Well, here we go. We did have some movement here. It looks like the Paradigm drivers they're jumping down to try to pick up the 4, but they've almost opened the door for the 66 of Parrish.
Yeah, they shut that door real quick. Brandon Pasalaco did.
They had to.
And now I think they're going to try to do everything they can to get the 4 back up front in front of the 54. That would be the move that we would be expecting.
Well, Matt DeCiani's definitely helping him. And look at the run from Brian Johnson. He jumps up in front of the 54, and now Paradigm's all together. Brian Johnson, new leader. Unless DeCiani can make something happen here.
I don't know, Brian. I think this is where the Paradigm guys want to be. They know that if they can get in line 1, 2, 3 up top, because we've seen Sanchez down here the whole time trying to make that work. Now that Matt DeCiani's down there, I mean, that's a new variable, if you will, but DeCiani and Sanchez, they're not even on the same team.
No, not at all. But then again, DeCiani and Brian Johnson weren't on the same team, but DeCiani pushed him to the lead. So,
I mean, yeah, I got you, but I still think right now where you're going to be watching is that's going to be the 66 of Parrish. That's the break point for me, because instead of it being Miller Bonds in the 12, it's the 66 car. I think once he gets in front of the 1, he's going to do his dangest to try to get down to try to achieve that dominant position on the bottom line.
Yeah, I don't know. This is definitely curious to see how this kind of plays out. And of course, the one of DeCiani and Shane Parrish, they're both on the same team. Derek Heitman as well is on their team. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think the 33 Randy Belk as well is on Team Conti. So there's a lot of Team Conti drivers that are trying to link up right now. It just seems like they're having a hard time actually doing it.
Ooh, the one off the pace right there, that's really going to cause a big whoops on the bottom line.
I think a lot of that is because Mark Sanchez is probably not that used to pushing. He led the bottom line almost all of stage one and just doesn't seem to be that comfortable in getting up there and touching some back bumpers.
Well, that break point continues to shift as it went from the 66 to the 12. Now it's at the 33 as the bottom line continues to fall back. Not sure DeCiani not having or suffering a similar fate as the drivers did in the earlier race. They have got to get some wheels into that bottom line, Brian, if it's even going to be worth the chance of a conversation.
Yeah, I don't know what they can do.
And now Sanchez in the middle, 3 wide. As he's going to drift back, this is going to get really messy. It's like a catch-up popsicle in August in Savannah.
Yeah, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, you guys didn't get to see that, but Mark Sanchez just got pushed up into the middle, 3 wide.
And yeah, that caused him to really drop back, Brian, because he was running, 5th place before all of that occurred?
Yeah. If we could look at more where they're side-by-side at, then I think we would have seen that a little bit more. But here we go. Matt DeCiani getting a run on the bottom here, side-by-side with the 54. They're starting, and this is because I think they shuffled out Sanchez.
Yeah, but Sanchez is still in the mix of this. He is right there side by side with Miller Bonds. That bottom line still trying to figure out what it does, what it do. But they're still 3 wide as Greg Wachinski's starting to try to find a way to put his nose in the fray as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of these drivers are starting to get a little bit more confident. I'd say a little bit more comfortable making bigger moves.
And that's
look at that. Kenny Powell has moved up into, I do believe, on the verge at least the top 10.
And isn't that what we want to see? We want to see bigger moves, man. We want to see big wiggles, bigger moves.
100%. And you could tell that Greg Wachinski's wanting badly to try to take the 33 3 wide, but Kenny Powell not giving a whole lot of room to do it.
He is definitely taking the air off of the 33 every time he gets an opportunity, trying to drag him back as quick as he can. But it's not seeming to work, but I tell you what, it will.
And I think Powell might be trying to, I don't know, it seems like he's trying to leave room for the 5 to get down, but just does not seem to be happening. I don't know if the G&G teammates are really communicating as effectively as they really need to. The 24 and the 5 should be trying to get lined up and work together here.
They still got time. And right now, I think the loose wild card of that is the 19 of Jay Hone. I mean, because he is still kind of right up in the mix of everything, so not knowing specifically where he's going to be or what his plan is.
We should say up towards the front, Matt DeCiani has taken the lead. Him and Derek Heitman were able to get clear of the Paradigm drivers and are now up in front in control right now. The Pied Pipers of this race right now. Brian Johnson, of course, is relegated back to 3rd. Randy Mullins is in 4th. Pasalacqua is right now side by side with Tanner Marty for 5th.
And that's gonna create a need. There it is right there, the 4 car coming down. A need of desperation. And here come the Paradigm guys doing exactly what they said that they didn't want to do. That's try to reconstitute on the bottom line. And they don't want to do it, Brian. They can't sell out to the bottom. They are split. Look at this. I mean, they don't want to give up the high line, but they're having to take the momentum that they have on the bottom line. Here comes Shane Parrish. He is going to be rolling by on the high side. And right now, they are 1, 2, 3 on the bottom, and they're going to have to try to make that work.
Yeah, no, this is definitely not looking good for Paradigm. As soon as they moved off of the top, it seems like they've lost a lot of speed. Maybe their cars just don't seem to work very well on the bottom.
The bottom line isn't working well. That's the problem. We've seen cars down there committed to the bottom line trying to make it work the entire race, lap after lap, and they've been right where these guys are at right now. And I don't know how they got shuffled down there, but they're going to have to try to hope that they can get Kenny Powell and crew to push them up so they can at least get a 3-car breakaway over the lead. But how does that even happen?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, of course, we did see the Team Conti drivers, Matt DeCiani and Derek Heitman. They were on the bottom. They were able to push each other up to the lead and jump up to where they're at now. But it doesn't seem like anybody else is really capable. Can they figure out how to do it? And look at that. Everybody's migrating off of the bottom. I just saw it. The 72 with Tanner Marty has decided to go up top. So a lot of drivers not wanting to run down there anymore.
I think Brian Johnson and me are still trying to figure out the same thing, and it's like, what the hell?
They definitely are, for sure. As we're coming up, I do believe now 10 laps to go in stage number 2. And it's definitely, the paradigm has changed.
Well, maybe they're going to put the hammer down here, get get just a phenomenal run, make that speed train occur down on the bottom. Hopefully they don't get the door slammed in their face. Breakpoint's going to be about the 5-car Wachinski. I don't see him letting them go by. If anything, he'll put himself. Nope, he's not going to do it.
I say you might see some driver try to jump down in front of them.
Absolutely, Brian. That's the play.
Yeah, I mean, to try to get track position yourself, to go for the stage win yourself. One driver that has made his way up into the top 10 that we haven't talked about yet, Kyle Holden. He started this race all the way back, I do believe, in like 28. And he's up to now 8th right now. What a job.
Yeah, and this is those stage points. They're going to be coming in to focus here real soon.
That's right. We're definitely coming really, really close to the end of stage 2, and it looks like we got some slow cars on the bottom. I do believe that's one of the damaged race cars.
That's Frank Flores. But here we come, around the bend. Bottom row still trying to get constituted. Greg Wachinski right there doing everything he can to kind of break the wind off the nose of the forward Brian Johnson.
We're seeing some big runs there from Kyle Holden. He, of course, being followed by Greg Carr. So battle of the Gregs a little bit here out in the top 10. Matt DeCiani in the lead. Did not see him race last week at Daytona, but here he is at Atlanta in control. And, of course, looks like Team Conti in control. 1, 2, 3, Team Conti at the moment. What does Miller Bonds do? He's in a Team Conti sandwich.
Well, here, with 5 laps to go, he's probably got a pretty good idea of what he's not going to do.
And we got a lap car, slow, the 84. He's going to get down out of the way. That's probably the smart call right there.
That's the only call. Man, I'm just waiting to see if this bottom line is going to be able to get the grip and speed that they need, and it's just not been there. It's kind of disappointing because it's a super speedway, but we're really relegated to just one dominant lane.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling that same way, Big Al. This does not look like what we would expect a super speedway to look like. This looks like it's one line is dominant. And maybe later, I mean, the thing is about it, though, Big Al, we got to remember that the dynamic track is a big thing in iRacing now. That tires, the rubber is going to start to impact this racetrack in certain spots where they run. Could it shift? Could we see the dynamic shift?
Well, they've been running the 2 primary lines on the racetrack. So, I mean, I don't understand how it's going to cause it to shift that much.
I don't know. Even the temperature could start to vary and change the line, viability.
Yep, looks like that bottom line is gaining a little bit of momentum here. Because now they're pulling all the way up to the 66 of Shane Parrish.
Oh, somebody into the outside wall. That was the 72, I do believe, of Tanner Marty. Just got the outside wall. That's the thing that's so difficult about this track. It's almost impossible to take them 3 wide. Because if you do, you're in danger of getting shoved into the wall. As we see DeCiani still in control. Coming up, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, 3 laps to go in stage 2.
And you will see Wachinski. He is going to take this 3 wide. If anything, he is going to come down across the nose of Brian Johnson as soon as he gets the opportunity. Now Johnson mounting an offensive. They're trying to gobble everything they can. But Brian,
Yeah,
this is where it's going to get
watch
tricky.
Kuczynski. Let's go to the 5 here and see. Yeah, let's take a look at him. This is where all the action's at right here. You see Brian Johnson trying to make a move here on the bottom.
He's stomping at the bit. He is trying to get down there and take the air off of those guys as much as he can. Ooh.
Yeah, and you can see that the side draft from the 4 to the 33 is slowing down some of that line. It's starting
look
to
at that
separate
gap
a little bit.
Yeah, the lead pack definitely starting to pull away there. And if the 33 can't pull that gap in and close it, that's definitely going to be advantageous for the bottom group.
And here we go, white flag for stage 2. As the 4 of Brian Johnson trying to get that bottom line moving. Can he at least finish in the top 5? We're getting ready to figure it out. As Matt DeCiani trying to claim his first stage victory of the year.
Oh, wow. Look at the 4 almost. Oh, he's sideways. Big whoop towards the back of the pack.
Yeah, we saw some guys getting loose. Yellow flag is out, of course, for stage number 2. But I didn't believe that was, I'm not sure who that was sideways.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to catch his number right there. Looks like it was the 59 car.
Could have been, yeah, Kyle Holden. I think he was able to save it, though.
Kyle Holden sliding sideways as he drifted across the line there for stage 2. What about that?
Let's see exactly what happened. We're seeing him right here. And I think he just got maybe loose. Well, it looks like he was actually fine, so it must have been someone else. But unfortunately, we weren't able to get eyes on what happened, who went sideways there. Unless this is we might have went a little bit further back. This might be what happened.
Went further back.
Okay, so let's see. Is this Kyle Holden?
No, it's a car behind him.
So it might have been Greg Carr here. Well, either way, I think we ain't got a whole lot of time to try to find this. Let's go ahead and run down through the results of stage 2. Matt DeCiani able to win stage number 2. Derek Heitman finishes 2nd. Shane Parrish in 3rd. Miller Bonds 4th. Randy Belk 5th. Brian Johnson 6th. Greg Wychynski 7th. Randy Mullins in 8th. 9th, Kyle Holden. And 10th, Brandon Passalacqua. We're going to take a quick step away and we'll talk to our stage 2 winner. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Super Cup Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to be talking to, I do believe, our Stage 2 winner, unless Big Al wants to talk to somebody else. Big Al, standing by.
Matt DeCiani, Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Man, congratulations to you for coming up and making it happen, man. Talk to us and tell us what is going on down there, man. Is there a dominant line? What are we seeing?
Yeah, the top's dominant for sure, but just got hooked up with my Team Conti teammate, Derek, and we just made the bottom work. But yeah, I mean, the top's the place to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, so how much, what are your thoughts about this? This is the 3rd time that we've been here at this configuration of the Atlanta Super Speedway. I mean, are you digging it?
No, it's complete ass. I hate this layout. We don't need more super speedways, honestly. The old Atlanta was so much better. It's just, I don't know. There's no racing, really. It's so hard to pass here. It's just, I don't know. I don't like it.
Well, thank you for not holding back at all. Did you guys have what was the coolest part of getting ready for this week as we get ready to get you out of here?
I mean, there wasn't much preparation. It's not a hard track to drive, really. It's just learn how to push, where to push, and that's pretty much all you got to do.
All right, I'm not going to take any of your secrets from you. I'm going to hold on to the end of this thing, man. Before we let you go, who you shouting out?
Yeah, thanks for you guys for calling the race. Team Conti for the setups.
All right, good luck, brother. Get back at it.
Yep, thanks.
Alrighty, that was Matt DeCiani, and he definitely put it bluntly. And, I got to be honest with you, Big Al. I don't really like the product we're seeing here when it comes to how hard it is to make a pass. I hope that this last stage shows something different, because it just seems like it's not worth the risk to jump out and make a move.
Well, hopefully, but that's racing. Like soft on the pace car, he's out of the way, but hopefully you got to get out and make a move. You have to.
Yeah, definitely got to, especially if you want to get these points. As there goes Derek Heitman up through the gears. Matt DeCiani, does he try to fall in behind him? Shane Parrish jumps up and hits the back of the 76, and it looks like Matt DeCiani able to get up and continue to hold the lead.
Greg Wachinski
yeah,
really solidifies his position on the bottom row now. Will be interesting to see if he truly stays in line with what we've seen, which is the high line is a dominant line, or if he sacrifices Brian and stays low.
Wachinski's been very consistent today. He's been running the top 10 all day long, so I would not be surprised that he stays there and gets himself a really good finish. I mean, I do believe he's in the top 10 in points right now as well. And he's being pushed by Kyle Holden. As well as, interesting to see. I mean, Randy Mullins, he's fallen back. He's in 6th right now. So the Paradigm drivers, they have to make some big moves. If anybody's got to make moves, those guys, I think, got to make moves. Of course, they got beaten last season by the, Team Conti drivers. Or they were EPI, but now they're Team Conti. Of course, same people beat them, and they don't want that to happen again.
I mean, I kind of like the way you're just laying it out there. I mean, you're really not making it smooth. I mean, you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm just telling it like it is.
you don't have to make that vanilla shake with buttermilk,
Yeah, I probably should have blended it up a little bit more.
You could make that a little bit easier to digest. They're gonna go back and look at this thing, and they're gonna be like, "What? Really?"
I'm just saying that they were, I wouldn't say they were beaten like terribly, terribly bad last season. They, of course, Paradigm and Team Conti or EPI, should I say, were the number 1 and 2 teams last season. It was between those two. It was 2 from each that were in the Final Four, and of course, I don't know. I guess I should refer to them as Team Conti, considering they're now Team Conti. I don't know.
Yeah, you should.
That's kind of confusing because, they were on a different team.
You got to go with the brand that's on the car, man.
Exactly. You're right. You're 100% right. I'm just saying, like, they were the ones to beat last season. 100%. Like, they were the ones to beat. And Paradigm, of course, they were winning races as well. I just don't know. What does Paradigm do right now? What can they do? They qualified so good.
You just let them race the race. They they lost their positions. They're now talking in their team channel, and they're coming up with a plan. They're not desperate because there's still plenty of racing left to go. You just don't want to get caught up in anything.
And I think the key is going to be, Big Al, pit strategy.
Well,
think about this. We haven't seen green flag stops yet tonight. And if we go green, we could see it.
You're not going to.
Whoa, almost 3 wide there for a moment as Greg Wachinski slows down a bit.
And that's why. Look at that high line now.
100%. They're starting to pull away on that high line. And you can
Somebody's got to break down. That's what I'm wondering. Like, why is no one shifting down? That shows you how much people are staying away from the bottom.
It seems like people were scared to go down there.
It's like crossing the railroad tracks, right?
I guess so. I mean, Kenny Powell, though, I think thinking about taking it 3 wide. Of course, he's in the 24, right there in 9th place. He's been one that's been working his way forward quite a bit as he's trying to possibly get behind the 12 of Miller Bonds. I don't know. Some drivers just testing the waters by trying to go 3 wide.
They just stayed high at all costs. That's what I'm seeing.
Oh, there goes Powell. Big move to the bottom in front of Greg Wyszynski. And this could be what maybe triggers that bottom line to have some new life.
I'm hoping that Kenny's listening to the broadcast and not just, telemetry. Go low. The more guys go low, the more that bottom line is going to get stronger.
I mean, DeCiani, and he even said it. He was like, we were able to make the bottom work. Top line's where you're going to, whoa, problem.
Oh, Powell low, below the line, fighting everything he can to keep it pointed in the right direction as he does as his G&G teammate. Greg Wyszynski's going to come up behind him and keep him supported. That's what you need, a good supporting cast. And then Greg Wyszynski right there to throw a net around Kenny and keep him safe. Like a big brother.
I'm wondering, I'm trying to see, I think that was the 56 of Chris Johnson that came down and tagged a little bit of the side of the 24. I'm sure those two not going to be too happy with each other.
They're not anyway. I'll tell you. Johnson used to work for Powell. There's so much tension between those two. We could just cut that up and sell it for sandwiches down at the dock.
But look at the recovery though for Powell. He's running massive. 3 wide.
He's running on anger now. Now he's got one mode in his mind, and that is, you know what? He's saying F you, and that's forget you for those just joining us.
I'm glad you clarified that. But Kenny Powell, look at the run, has gotten up to 6th place so far, as he's now side by side with Randy Mullins. And we saw, I do believe, Miller Bonds went 3 wide in order to take a position from, I think he took that spot from Randy Mullins. So we're starting to see 3 wide become more common.
Hey, speaking of more common, what's the going rate on the tank of gas around this place?
67 laps. So, of course, fuel is going to be a concern. These guys are not going to be able to make it to the end on a tank of gas. And that's going to require a green flag stop if we stay green. And I think that's where the race is going to be won on what's your famous words?
Yeah, you race for show, you pit for dough. But you said the over-under on cautions was 3. You still owe us 3 cautions. I don't think so. As Kenny Powell and crew try to make it around the 84. He's just having a hard night.
We did get
tonight.
1, so we have gotten 1 based on our next.
Right, so we owe 2. And cautions breed cautions, so the next one's going to breed another one. Plus, you're going to have one within 10 to go. It's a super speedway.
Anything is definitely possible. I like what I'm seeing from the G&G guys, though. You see the 24, Kenny Powell, Greg Wyszynski, both in line, and just a car behind them, of course, Kyle Holden, and then you got J.C. Evans. Evans definitely looking strong here tonight as well.
Well, there's a lot of other G&G guys that you haven't mentioned. Paul Osu, Ford. So there's still a lot of cars that are out there on that racetrack tonight that just haven't been getting mentions because they're just kind of in the pack, Brian. And unfortunately, if we're gonna talk about some stuff, we're gonna have to get out of the pack. We're gonna have to mix it up a little bit, and that's what I'm waiting on.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about a lot of those guys because they've been outside of the top 20. Keep this in mind, Big Al. This race tonight has probably been the most populated race we've had in the ISCA. I think we had 32 drivers. Well, not including me, 32.
I just saw 33 on the sheet, man. You was one of them.
That's a full race.
Look, when they pull this out in the archives and they be like, oh, God, the ICA had 33 drivers. Brian Britt, you're on there, brother.
I guess so. It's history, right?
It's history, man. You made the charter.
I feel so special.
Speaking of making the charter, look at how much ground the 24 Kenny Powell has made as he is now making that bottom line start to come alive, Brian. And you know what? At one point, it's going to be the dominant line because everybody's going to have to get down there to go down the pit road. And that's what we're going to be watching and seeing how this is going to shake out.
Well,
When the
looking at
drivers-
lap times, Powell is running faster than everybody on the top right now, but they do have a lap car. Here comes the 18 of Alexander Carr. Does he get out of the way?
he will.
Does he?
Not.
Yeah, this is good. Oh, there's a problem because of the lap car
And there's
staying
the
in the
caution.
way. Greg Wyszynski absolutely destroyed with that crash. Brian Johnson, the Paradigm driver's involved. No. All because of the lap car. Those guys are very mad at Alexander Carr.
You said he was going to get out of the way.
You did. I didn't say it.
No, you said he was going to
You
get out of the
said
way.
it. You
Chris
said it. Come on.
James, Brian Johnson, Kyle Holden. These are the names of guys who have to. Wow, look at that.
Man, that was the big one. That was the big one.
We just got to have a moment of silence after that one. I mean, I'm just going to be quiet and meditate. Holy cow.
That was rough.
And that's uncalled for, too. I mean, I'll say that.
I think Alexander Carr should have gotten out of the way. I mean, clearly there was no way they were going to be able to make it by him without it being a crash.
And he's in the bottom line. He knows that it's a 2-lane racetrack. I mean, sorry, Alexander, but yeah, you really stepped on that one, buddy.
Kenny dodged a bullet. Oh, look at all that. I mean, everybody just drives into this crash. I mean, there's nothing most of these drivers could have done.
Well, you can't. You're traveling at 170 plus. What are you going to do? You can't turn the wheel. You're just going to go forward. You can't slam the brakes. You're just going to go forward.
I'd like to see if we could take that from a cockpit view of Kyle Holden. Let's take a look through there. Because, I mean, he was the one that really had the majority of the movement in that crash. He is the 59. Yeah, we're gonna have to rewind it we're gonna have to rewind it back. It's the 59 of Kyle Holden. And hold on to your lunch, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be probably gonna get a little nauseous. You can see right there, just he is spinning all over the place.
Yeah, probably not the look you wanted. Let's
Not
look at it
him.
from the 79 car's perspective. So let's see what the 79 car saw, please.
That's David Centini. Of course, he had a really solid performance last week. Yeah, I mean this is a tough crash to be able to
And it started by a lap car. What do you think about that? How does that make you feel? Because you're a registered driver in this race, so I want
It's
to talk
making
to
me
you.
feel like I need to start driving because I could get some positions.
But as a racer, when you come into a situation like that, you've got 60 plus laps to go. I mean, not really even doing anybody any favor. They'd have to come back down again to top off just to hope they could make it to the end of this thing. So it was just inopportune. But how do you
You know
feel?
what's-
And how hard is it to
I'd be
get
really
back
mad.
focused after that?
I'd be really mad, I gotta be honest. I'd be really, really mad. And you know what's gonna make these drivers even madder? He got his lap back. He got a wave around because of that accident that he caused. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of these drivers, especially the ones that were involved in the crash, are furious right now about this.
So you'd be furious, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, this is an accident that was unnecessary.
Do you think this accident will actually change the outcome of the race?
Oh, it already has. Greg Wyszynski was he was a top 10 runner, and his car is
Can we talk to Greg? Can we pull Greg up here?
I mean, pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to go back green. If you wanted to,
He's not.
well, go ahead, pull him in. We'll talk to him. Do we got him? Greg Wyszynski, do you read me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Hey, we're getting ready to go back green, so we just want to talk to you for a moment, though, and see what happened from your perspective.
That lap car was just in the way. It was just a scramble, and I guess somebody hit me from behind, and that was it.
Yeah, and it caused such a huge crash there for sure. I mean, are you out on the racetrack driving again?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Well,
My car's pretty trash, but I'm gonna give it a go.
all right. Well, we hate that it went poorly for you, Greg. We'll let you get back to it, and best of luck. Hopefully, you can get some of that fixed or get some points salvaged.
Yeah, I'm gonna try, man. Keep up the good work.
Alrighty, that was Greg Wachinski. Sounded like he was relatively calm. We could have probably been a little bit more angry.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more than that, but we'll figure it out. But he did hit the nail right on the head, Brian. He said that the lap car caused that for no reason whatsoever.
And here we go. Looks like that. These guys hung out Miller Bonds there for the lead.
No, they hung him out for the lesson. I mean, he is still sliding back. His fall from grace not over yet. 3 wide right there to make it worse. J.C. Evans on the inside, along with the 33. He is still trying to slice that cheese. Kenny Powell on the inside going to make it work, making the bottom line work to his advantage as he is pulling up on Shane Parrish.
I got to be honest with you. I think we're getting ready to see another crash here because, I mean, cautions breed cautions. I think guys have gotten it in their minds that, hey, we got to race hard to get points here. Powell now up to the top 5, trying to go side by side.
There was one more in Powell.
Here we go. Randy Bell takes him 3 wide. He jumps underneath.
Powell doesn't have the momentum that he needs, and now he's in the middle, losing every bit of help that he had. He's got the 54 car, no help coming from there. Here comes his G&G teammate, Mark Sanchez. He is going to push up through the middle, going to give Powell the poke that he needs to make it work, but where is it going to land? Looks like it sorted itself out, Brian.
And I do apologize. I don't believe we were actually live. I don't know if we saw any of what we were just talking about.
I was live.
Well, I definitely was live too. Kenny Powell, of course, falls back now to 9th place. And I do believe Randy Belk, after all that, still wasn't able to get past him. And
But
now
he's still right there, though, Brian, and that ain't over yet.
Belk
Look at 29. Look at the
impressive.
run that Mark Sanchez got. He came from the top down to the bottom. Now he's going to be waiting on J.C. Evans to pull it up. That's his G&G 1, 2, 3 behind him. Paradigm kind of took a big shot there with that last little bit of contact direct that we had there.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think Chris Johnson and I do believe Randy Mullins survived really that crash. You see, actually, no, Pasalacqua is still driving, but yeah, I got to go back to what you just said about Mark Sanchez. This guy's making moves. He won last week, and where's he at right now? He's in the top 5.
And look who's behind him.
G&G teammates.
And look, yeah, you feel me?
Oh yeah, they're making something happen. Derek Heitman, though, is he shaking in his boots? Does he see this? Is he worried? Are these guys doing something to try to halt this run that the bottom line's making?
But the one thing about Heitman, you got to understand, for those of you that are fans of Big Al that keep us on the air, I appreciate you. I love all of you because, I mean, I'm a little bit of a desired taste, but Derek Heitman, this is his first time here.
It always is.
It's his first time.
Oh, Sanchez almost turned by J.C. Evans. J.C.'s got to be careful pushing his teammate in the corner like that. That was a scary, that almost went bad.
She's faster when she's sideways.
I don't know. I think that these guys are having a little bit of tough time predicting. Hopefully they're communicating.
Yeah, I think they just got to figure out how to keep that bottom line off of the top line to quit from stealing the air so they can actually get a run going.
I'll tell you one drive. Oh!
The Shane Parrish, as I was looking for him, he's the breaking point. I think Shane's the guy that comes down that actually makes the bottom line even with the top line.
We got to keep an eye on this 29 because him and the 9 keep almost spinning out here. They're having some trouble pushing one another. I got to say one thing as well. The 27 of Eric Jacobs up in 11th right now, banging on the back door of the top 10. How about it?
I mean, what does almost mean? I mean, my sister was almost my brother, right?
They're almost about to wreck here.
Well, they still owe us one more.
Oh, they're going to get it.
The bottom line has fallen behind, so come on, guys, put her in gear. We got to go. 53 laps left in this thing before we can actually call it and put it in the books. Looks like some guys will make it on fuel. It's going to be tight, especially for the guys that are out front. For the guys that are running out front in this super speedway configuration, they consume a little bit more fuel than the guys that are running, say, mid-pack. And that, my friend, might be the delta. It's going to be close right here from that last pit stop to the end of the race.
No, I agree. I think it could be a problem, but I don't know. I don't think it really will be. If I was to bet, I think that everybody's probably good because everybody pitted.
Yeah, they're good
during that last caution. Of course, the fuel window is 67 lap.
But I don't know if they're good yet. I think they're still racing to get the green light. I think right now some drivers are still having to conserve until they know for sure and for certain that they're done. The 33 car falling way down off the racetrack. Not sure what his situation is.
I think Randy just a little nervous. I don't know. Maybe Randy didn't get enough fuel himself. Maybe.
Well, that ain't the way to go about doing it, because once you lose the draft here, you're just alive.
Or maybe he's a little worried about maybe a crash breaking out.
Oh, that's a good chance. There are two things going to take place here tonight. Either it's going to be a tent revival or it's going to be a wreck, and I'm betting on a wreck.
Yeah, 100%. Mark Sanchez, though, keeping the dream alive. He has been flirting with that top 5 as he's now side by side with Bonds again. And Derek Jacobs still up right there flirting with that top 10 as he's followed by Darren Mullins.
Man, look at the 56 car. What is his decision as he is seeing Mark Sanchez now come back up alongside him? Miller Bonds also trying to solidify and secure his position, because you understand, Brian, once you get past, you're past. And there's nothing you can do about it, especially in a racetrack like this or on a racetrack like this where you really don't have the luxury of creating another lane.
Yeah, and that's been, I think, the most difficult thing about this race here tonight. It's been so hard to make passes. You don't have a whole lot of options. You just kind of have to. Oh! And the 66 turns the 1, and the 29 as well. Oh! Pandemonium has broken loose here in Atlanta. The 56 missing his front bumper, as I do believe the accident kicks off between the 1 and the 66.
Matt DeCiani, the only one that's really going to be on the downside of that one, is he's the only one who incurs that dreaded repairs required flag.
Wow. We're going to have to take a couple more looks at that. These two are teammates. The 66 and the 1, they are teammates, and they wrecked each other. I mean, how's that going to go down here at the beginning of the season?
It's going to be a heck of a debrief is what it's going to be.
100%.
I mean, because
this is not... I can't. We got to be. This is definitely an interesting view to see Sanchez, of course, getting shot down the inside wall. But I wanted to see what happened between the 66 and the 1 that led to Sanchez going down here.
I think it's just a matter of saving fuel.
I don't know. We'll have to see. You see, the 1 goes up the track. The 66, I think he thought about shooting the middle 3 wide.
Yeah, I think somebody lifted and somebody gifted, and that's just met in the middle.
I know there's definitely going to be a lot of talking about this one. And Sanchez, who hit the inside wall pretty hard, car doesn't look as bad as you think it would.
And you got John Binder right there. Old John Binder looks like he's going to run out of there with just a standard black flag, which is going to have to be served, unfortunately, under green flag conditions. So his peril far from over.
Of course, a lot of people on pit road right now getting some damage repaired. Derek Heitman is your leader at the moment. And I don't know what we're looking at here on our screens.
I think we're watching this wreck one more time just from a higher angle.
Must be.
My best guess.
Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't look like that. But now we are back live. Derek Heitman, of course, at the front of the field. Let's take a look at let's see where everybody stands right now. Of course, right now,
Derek
Hytman.
Heitman,
Yep, go
J.C. Evans, Kenny Powell. What does that sound like to you?
That sounds like Derek Hytman all by his lonesome against G&G right now. But of course, let's see who's left in this race now.
Tanner.
On back is, I do believe, a lap down.
I think we do need to go at least run through the top 20, man. We got some names in here that we, some guys are going to make some really good headway here tonight.
Yeah, let's do it, Big Al. I mean, Derek Heitman, as you said, he's up at the front of the field. J.C. Evans is in second. Tanner Marty is in third. Kenny Powell's in third. Tanner Marty's in fourth. Randy Mullins is in, I do believe, fifth place. Jeffrey Ford, he's up to sixth right now. Jose Medina, new driver, he's in, I do believe, seventh. Derek Jacobs in eighth. Blair Holloman ninth. Evan Longacre 10th. David Centini 11th. Shane Parrish, who unfortunately was involved in that last crash, is 12th. Darren Mullins 13th. Paul Olson, he's up to 14th. John Binder 15th. Randy Drumhiller, I should say, 16th. Alexander Carr, he's in 17th. Brandon Passalacqua 18th. Miller Bonds 19th. And Greg Carr 20th. So very much a huge change up and a lot of opportunity for some new drivers. You got Jeffrey Ford, Jose Medina, 48, new driver. Could he possibly get some good points here tonight?
Yes, that entire leaderboard is going to change for the ISCA overall tonight, and I can't wait to see how that looks next week.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to see.
Race car out of the way. Lights off. Getting ready to kick this thing green again.
Yep, here we go. Green flag back out in the air. Derek Heitman up through the gears. What does G&G do? J.C. Evans and Kenny Powell. What does Tanner Marty do? What does Derek Jacobs do? We got a lot of unknowns.
I don't think so. I think 44 laps ago, this is greater than or equal to the first stage and then some. So I think you understand, you run high, save tires, and then you go hard at the end.
And here comes Kenny Powell. He jumps up to the top. As Tanner Marty, he's going to stick with Derek Heitman.
J.C. Evans right up top with his G&G teammate. They got the 54 car in tow, and I think Kenny Powell just picked, he just made the best choice that he's made all night of the race.
No, I think he did too. He jumped up top, and that's where the strength has been at all night long, has been up top. Who is that? Evan in the 14. I think that's Longacre just made a big move up to the top. Haven't seen the 14 really all race long. Now he's up in the top 10 making some big moves.
Seeing what happens with the 27. Will he make the shift as well?
I don't know. I don't think anybody else is going to let him up.
I think with this many laps left, I think you got to go high, man, because you got to save your tires so that way if you do have to come down, if there is a late race caution, maybe you can get away with just taking two. I think if you stay down there on the low end, you're going to wear them out, and you're just not going to be as fast as you need to be down the stretch. Oh, the 76 trying to take the high line from Kenny Powell. That causes a checkup. Now Powell, I don't know how he's really going to sit with that decision.
I'm surprised Derek was able to get that kind of a launch going when
he wasn't.
Tanner Marty apparently gave him a good enough push to be able to get above or in front of the 24. Does Powell try to cut him out?
And that's just funny now because you can't right now. At this point, I think you got to follow the guy in front of you. I mean, that's going to be your best case here, and you kind of wait to the end of this thing.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think you're going to want to try to see if you could just kind of keep your head down right now. I mean, consider we're 124 laps into this thing. We still have, I do believe, just under 40 to go.
Yeah, this is not the time to be shifting dance partners, man, because I'm telling you, if you do that, you end up dancing by your damn self. Look at the lead that Heitman now has since he's asserted himself onto the top line. The 72 car doing everything he can to try to keep the bottom line still in tow, but they are broken and frayed at best, Brian. And I'm going to tell you, I just don't know that they're going to get enough buy-in. I don't think guys are really truly sold out to be on that bottom row to make it do what it needs to do. I see the 66 of Shane Parrish back there. I see the 43 of Paul Olsen back there. Derek Jacobs, hey, way to go, Derek. You made yourself all the way up here in the 27 car. Glad to see you're still in it, but I need to see more.
Yeah, I mean, Derek, I think in a lot of ways, Derek has the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's pushing, the 72. And if he, kind of doesn't do a good job pushing, and look at that, he backs off. So I don't know what's going on with the 27, and there goes Jeffrey Ford. He jumps down. He's like, okay, this line's not moving. I'm going to see if I can maybe get it moving. So I'm not sure why Jacobs is so slow right now. Maybe he's being cautious. This is not the time, I don't think, to be overly cautious.
I think it's inputs. I think if your car's not set up the right way, it's just hard to run, up here because you're having to make movements, because you're in the draft, because you're getting all of this dirty air.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that Derek is definitely a super speedway type driver. I don't know why.
This is a different kind of a super speedway.
Yeah, it is. I guess it is. It's a different type of super speedway. You're exactly right.
It's in Georgia. I mean, what else do we need to say, right? It ain't going to be like nothing else.
Well, we are starting to see a little bit of separation in that top line between the 14 and the 54, and that's allowing Jeffrey Ford to make some moves. He's got some forward momentum here.
And that's good because he needs to get in front of the 54. He needs to get in front of the Paradigm. His job right now tonight is going to be to keep that 54 car from shifting down. And as soon as his G&G teammates see him in the position, he has got to help catapult them to get in front of the 76 at all costs.
Yeah, I'm watching the 14 of Evan Longacre got really loose in that last set of corners. So watch out for that driver. He seems like his car is not handling as well as he probably was hoping, as he's being followed, of course, by David Centeni. Centeni, very strong plate racer. We've seen him in the past couple races here in the ISCA do very well. And J.C. Evans, though, looking for having him a really good night here tonight as he follows Kenny Powell. I think the G&G team really biding their time at the moment. Paul Olsen, though, he's back there, I do believe, in 12th. Definitely looking to get himself a good finish. He's also another driver that likes the super speedways. Here
33 laps to go, just short of stage one. And so right now you got the data. It's been collected. You know exactly what you need to do to make this thing work to the end, Brian. So this is the time where you start to put those calculations in the order.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you can do here. I think
it's a long run.
You've had chances to make adjustments on the race car all race long, and I don't think you got that chance anymore.
Yeah, it's a long run.
Now, some drivers are going to get a little bit shaky. Some drivers are going to get a little bit, I think, maybe to be tempted to make those 3 wide moves that we saw earlier.
Well, she ain't going to do nothing she ain't done already is what I'm getting at. You got all the data you're going to get. Right now, the only thing you got to do is drive the dang car. And she's only going to get slower. You know, you've got 33 laps to go from where you're sitting right now. And that's barring there's not another caution. But look at the bottom line. Look at the speed that Jeffrey Ford is now getting.
Yeah, Jeffrey Ford in that 15 is looking really, really spicy. He's looking pretty competitive right now.
But behind him, he just doesn't have that supporting cast of characters that the Highline does. And that's what he's going to need if he's going to want to be out front.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
This is a draft-centric track.
But, I mean, he's got the 72. You remember the 72 pushed Derek Heitman in front of Kenny Powell. So I would not be surprised to see the 72 might be able to do the same for the 15 here.
Yeah,
he's close, side by side for the lead for a moment there.
Side draft, 30 to go. I mean, I'm with you. We're up here and we're throwing dice like we need 7s and 11s. I don't shoot dice, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that I made the correct reference.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, gambling's illegal inside here.
I'm like, Big Al done crapped out.
We do got some lap traffic that's coming up though, so that could be a curious.
Yeah, it was
thing.
last time.
Yeah, it never works out well when you got lap traffic at this track.
And this is Matt DeCiani, the lap traffic that we're coming up on, right?
Yeah, I do believe Matt Nisiani drafting with someone else.
The 2 car, the 1 and the 2 are together.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yep,
two
they
is
are.
on.
And I think most of them very, very heavy damaged. And there they go. They get down. Smart money. That's what you do.
That's
You got a
smart
back
money
car
right there.
that are coming up on you. And Chris James doesn't have his front end. I mean, so that's probably smart
Well, he can identify as having a whole car.
if he wants to, yeah. But here we go. 137 laps in. We're closing in on the ending of this race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Next week, we're going to be heading to another 1.5 miles, but it's going to be a little bit more of a classic 1.5 miles. Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We talk about gambling. We're going to the gambling capital.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the end of it for a lot of folks, too, because that's week 12 of 13, isn't it?
I do believe it is for, not for the,
Oh, big whoops! Problems
Aaron
all around the
Mullen.
racetrack. That's going to take out the entire back half of the track. Have to take a look at that. Miller Bond's involved. Caution is out. Guys, this is just not good right here.
That was the 84 of, I do believe, 64, I do believe, actually. And you
Yeah,
can
a
see
lot
right
of
here,
GMV cars in there, too, Bubba.
Darren Mullins, the 64, was where it all started. He rebounded off the outside wall, came down, and just collected a ton of cars.
Man, Greg Carr, Chris D. Johnson, Darren Mullins, all recipients of that dreaded
Right there.
repairs required flag.
Got that outside wall, came down, and just tagged whoever was underneath him. I'm not sure who was underneath him, but I know he hit the outside wall, rebounded off of
Look,
it.
it's dead.
Oh yeah, I mean 0 RPM.
Yeah, she's dead. Jay Home, man, also unfortunately is going to pick himself up a black flag.
Yeah, I'm not sure who was below him. I'm trying to figure out exactly who that was underneath him that he hit after he rebounded off of the wall. See right here. Okay. So the 44, that's Randy Drumhiller. Look at this. She's
He went
chaos.
right. Jay Home went through him. That's what saved him in the 19 car, if you see it. Because otherwise, if he would have hit him, his car would have been demolished. Yeah, so that's going to give everybody the opportunity to come on down on pit road to go ahead and get 4 tires, 4 freshies, and some Sunoco racing fuel. That's also going to allow you to collect on your over-under of 3 cautions for the race 2 weeks in a row, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to Vegas, take Brian Britt with you.
One thing that's kind of interesting is the top 5 are all on 40-lap-old tires, and they have elected to stay out. Everybody else is on at least 22-lap. So the thing is about it, we heard it directly from Brandon Pasalacqua earlier that tires matter. Now, 40 laps is quite a long stint.
You know what matters more than tires?
What?
Track position.
Yeah, that's true. If we get another wreck, it will matter.
And we have not seen anyone able to capitalize. Because once you come back out, I don't care how fresh your tires are, you're going to be in the pack, buddy. And you got to pay your dues to get through. And there's going to be cars that are out there that are going to be slower than you, just under the proxy that they got damaged and probably didn't pit. And this isn't a track where you're going to make up a ton of positions by, bobbing left and right. You really are limited to what you got, bud.
Yeah, this is interesting. This has been a race and a half right here. Man.
So right now, Dalton Mobley, Kyle, Holden, Darren Mullins, those are the only 3 drivers that we're showing that are out of the race. The only driver that we're showing that has repairs required right now is Chris D. Johnson. And Jay Holmes still has a black flag that's active that he has to serve under green flag conditions. So what I'm saying is that it's still a lot. It's still open to anybody, really, because anybody in the top 14 of this thing has a chance of winning it.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I mean, there's 20 people I do believe still on the lead lap. So if you got a car that's still running pretty well, I think you got a chance at this thing. Now, some drivers I don't think have a car that's running very well. But yeah, Derek Heitman, he's in the lead right now. Kenny Powell, he's still alive, and of course, I think having a teammate's going to be incredibly important as well. Powell has got J.C. Evans right there with him.
And I'm surprised. I mean, really, I am kind of surprised that the 76 Heitman did elect to take the low line on the restart. I think he's going to be trying to do everything in his power, though, to get up and around Powell. So Powell, look for Powell. He's just going to be right on the 76ers. He cannot afford to lose that position again.
Yeah, he has to have a good start here. And there's the green flag.
Heitman
was
to a lightning start.
Yeah, he waited until the last possible moment to try to catch those guys off guard, and he jumps up in front of Powell. And he slows him down a ton. And Tanner Marty's going to try to take the lead here with the help of Randy Mullins.
I think he's just stacking them up there, trying to get that top line solidified.
Coming
There's
up
still
three wide
back there, Brian. They're
Tanner
3 wide
Marty.
up front, 3 wide in the back. It's just not good. It's not great. It's not going to end well.
Yeah, no, this is not going to end well. And look who's up the top 5, Paul Olson.
No. This is where that super speedway mentality is actually going to start writing checks. And unfortunately, this racetrack is just going to be putting a whole lot of people, up for collateral.
Oh, yeah. We're putting a whole lot of people without a race car at the end of this thing. As Randy Mullins now leads that bottom line. Can he make something happen?
Got Paul Olson right behind him. Good to see Greg Watinski just turning the guy in front of him.
Oh, no.
You gotta see which car that was. Sorry, Greg.
Yeah, I think that might have been the
19.
18. But there goes Kenny Powell. He makes the move, but then decides against it. He went low. Him and JC, they were getting ready to jump, try to pass Heitman, but I think they elected not to.
I think it's still early right now. There's 20 laps to go, but JC and Powell are on the same team, and I think Derek Heitman has got to start to be a little worried right now, Brian, because one of these two is going to make a run at him, and he's going to have to block it, and that's going to leave him open for the other one to kind of walk away with it. So, J.C. Evans, you got a pretty good shot at actually putting yourself in the winner's circle here tonight. You just got to play your cards the right way.
Well, I think what Kenny's also
Powell goes
about,
high, loses it. That caused a big check up in the high line there. Not sure what just happened on Powell's behalf. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I saw exactly that. And I think the reason that maybe Kenny and JC haven't jumped out yet is because if they do, that means the 66 of Shane Parrish links up with Derek Heitman. That puts 2 teammates together, and they don't want that.
Well, no matter what you do, you're going to have 2 teammates together or 3. They just got to try to figure out how it's going to work in their favor, because Paul Olson is back up front here for the first time tonight. Talk about running a good race. Plus, they got Jeffrey Ford, who's right there, man. G&D is looking solid here, Brian.
Randy Belk just hit the wall pretty hard there as they're side by side for the lead. As Randy Belk gets pushes up into Kenny Powell.
St. Paris makes it through, caution flags out, but wow, just an unfortunate set of circumstances there. Olsen just pushed, I don't know, chain of events took out a lot of G&G cars. That's what I got. What you
Randy Mullins, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, got a bad bump from behind, and that sent him up into Kenny Powell. We're going to take another look at it. That's the 54 we're looking at. And right there, just a bad bump from Paul Olson. So we're going to have to look. Once again, probably maybe a little bit of a different angle. We can see this bad bump that comes from behind.
That was an expensive caution for G&D. Watch this. Paul Olson pushes to 54 into Kenny Powell, but you also see J.C. Evans goes down low. Greg Watinski, Kenny Powell both end up with a dreaded repairs required flag, and those are 2 G&G guys, Brian, that were actually having a pretty good shot at being up front on this thing. I mean, I don't know how this plays out. That's a stinger.
Yeah, no, I mean it's pretty bad. I mean Paul indirectly took out his other G&G teammates. He didn't mean to, of course.
That's a twofer, buddy.
I mean, it's just this is a tough track to bump draft at, and he was trying to push the rear end of Randy Mullins, and unfortunately, Randy on the receiving end of it as well. I mean, he's back in now 15th.
So who do we want to talk to? Can we talk to Greg again, or we want to talk to? Yeah, let's talk to Greg again because surely he can't. Oh, look, he's done left. Oh no, he's still here.
You can talk to him this time.
Hey, Greg Bertinsky, Big Al up in the booth. You got me.
What's up, Big Al?
Hey, how you feeling now?
Oh my God, man! I feel like I've been hit by everything on the track today.
So, as we're on the caution here, man, we've been sitting up here talking to ourselves, just having a blast, looking at everything that's going down on the racetrack. And I'm just wondering, man, is this track really just, I mean, dreadful?
I mean, I'm not a big fan of this track. I don't think it's that hard, but I mean, I don't know. It's a tough track. I mean, it can get a little monotonous, and it's not easy. That's for sure. It's very intense.
And it seems like you guys are just, it's just one fast line, and there's kind of a stagnant line. I mean, what's it like down there racing? Is it give and take, or is it just a lot of just follow?
Oh, it's a ton of give and take. I mean, there's so much checking up. For me, I mean, my car is so damaged. I'm just lucky to be able to keep the draft at this point. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of give and take. A lot of good drivers out here. So,
man, we appreciate your patience and for you just being such a good sport. Hopefully, you get your car repaired, man, and get back out there. Who are you shouting out tonight for your Smash 'em Up Derby Fest?
well, I love you guys up in the booth. You guys do a great job. Thanks to Kenny for putting on the league, G&G Racing. And, of course, the Baltimore Orioles. Go O's.
Roger that. Good luck to you, Greg.
Thank you, sir.
All righty, pace car lights are out. We do appreciate Greg jumping up here and talking with us.
Did you hear Jay Home just like crash the wall coming by?
Yeah, I saw the 19. Is that who that was?
Yes, sir.
I definitely did see that. Pace car lights are out, and he was having a little bit of some technical issues as well. But Team Conti right now in control of the top two spots. Will this last? Will we see another caution? Could we see possibly a new winner in the ISCA? I think it's definitely possible. Of course, we've seen Heitman go to victory lane. We've seen Shane Parrish in victory lane, but we haven't seen third or fourth or anybody. A lot of these guys go to victory lane. As we enter the Geico restart zone, green flag is back out in the air. Heitman up through the gears. Him and, of course, the 66 most likely going to get lined up, and there they go.
Yeah, Derek Heitman definitely has to. He just has to remain focused at this point because this race is really his to win. As long as he stays out front, Brian, it would really take a significant effort to even mount an attack against him.
Yeah, no, it definitely would. I mean, it would be very, very difficult in order to challenge him, especially when he's got a Team Conti driver right there with him in Shane Parrish. Of course, the 72 of Tanner Marty has not been a slouch in this race, though, but he has been good at pushing. There goes Blair Holloman. He dives to the inside of the 72.
Along with Jeffrey Ford. That bottom line now is starting to get lined up. These guys are not going to waste any time to try to get themselves flowing. 12 laps to go, 11 at the line.
Yeah, we know the
big checkup on the bottom line.
We definitely know the 15 of Jeffrey Ford is fast, but we don't know exactly about Blair Holloman. And it looks like he's checking that bottom line up.
And that's the thing, too, man. When you get to this stage of the game, you got to trust the guys that are not only in front of you, behind you, beside you. You know what I mean? Because you really don't want to be taking chances. You've made it this far in the competition tonight. If your stuff's not torn up, you really want to be in a trust pocket, not a hot pocket.
Yeah, 100%. Coming up now, 10 laps to go. Derek Heitman trying to see if he could possibly secure the victory here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now, one thing about super speedway style racing is when you're leading with 10 to go, a lot of times you're not leading when it comes to that start finish line. We'll see if that's going to be the case. Bottom line starting to move here.
Yeah, that 10 car though's really got that bottom line feeling some kind of a way. I'm watching these guys, and they're really kind of bump sketchy at the back. That's a new word for us, bump sketchy. It's like big wiggles, but when they get up,
Caution's out.
yep, there it is.
Not sure why. I think it's Jay Hone, maybe?
It was touchy-feely in the back, man, so.
The 19, I think, might have brought the caution out here. Let's take a look at this 19, because he starts blinking and he hits the wall. I don't know if that... You see he went 3 wide. Oh, no, the caution had already came out by the time he had went through us. I don't know why the caution
You think
came
it
out
might
here.
have been because he did glitch and kind of
Could have been. I
created
mean,
an in-car kind of scenario? 2 cars contact?
it could have. I mean, a lot of times when you're blinking, it can cause a caution to come out when there shouldn't be one.
Well, the good news is somebody's going to find themselves the recipient of the lucky dog.
I give some people some chances to get some damage repaired. Maybe throw another set of tires on.
8 laps to go, though. It's guaranteeing us another opportunity for caution.
He is doing that, and if we get another caution, it will be a green-white checkered. But it has definitely been an interesting race. We appreciate everybody out there joining us here tonight in the ISCA. We definitely love to see you out on the racetrack, so make sure you check out the iRacing Stock Car Association on Facebook. Definitely subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, we're on X, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. We're also available on Fall In, the premier sponsor of tonight's event. You've seen us, you've heard about us. If you or someone you know that's a first responder, a veteran, Ghost Star family member, just join us at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Yeah, and awesome things you guys are doing there with that as well. I mean, really connecting veterans and, like you said, Gold Star family members to a bunch of resources, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the primary focus of us all, is just to kind of uncover the resources that are available and highlight them and put them in one place so that everybody that's, that is eligible for them can find them.
It's also a community aspect to it as well. Like you could be almost like a social media aspect that you could friend request people and message them and get in touch with buddies you hadn't seen in a while, right?
It's a shared social media. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we are working on a virtual wall as well, and that's it's really complete the record. So you say Grandpa was in the military, he served in the Korean War. You could come in the Fall In, put his name in, and be able to link him with people that served with him that will have photos and stories even, so and you can even do that if you're alive. We call that the virtual wall. That's what we're working on right now. Pretty excited about it.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome. I mean, I'm sure any veterans out there, you should really check this out, because I mean, this could be a game changer for you. I mean, to get in touch with old battle buddies that you might have lost track of, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And to keep on top of everything that's going on in the veteran community, finding out about things that will affect you.
Pace car lights are out, though. We're getting ready to exit turn 4, is what could be the last restart. We'll have to wait and see. We could see a green-white checkered, but I think we're going to have, if I'm not mistaken, a 6-lap shootout, as Derek Heitman right now is leading the bottom line, with Shane Parrish leading the top. Green flag back out in the air. Heitman up through the gears. What a start. Can the 72 capitalize? Can Brandon Pastelak win the 6? Capitalize. We're 3 wide. Randy Mullins in the outside wall, the 54.
And we hadn't seen Brandon back up here since stage 1. 3 wide all the way through is the 44. Now it's going to get caught up by the 14. This will be a choke point.
It definitely will be, and you can see David
Little
Centini kind
bumping.
of sitting right behind in line.
Gonna be 4 wide right here, Brian. Definitely got to watch this as the 27 of Jacobs comes in behind the 18.
And yeah, he almost took him 4 wide, but I think he thought better of it. Oh, the 25 of Greg Carr flying through the air. Caution is out.
And I don't think we're done. I think we're still wrecking here.
And that is the 25 of Greg Carr missing his front end.
5 laps to go on this one.
And that is going to put us in green-white checkered territory. As you can see, this is right when I do believe the green flag flew. And I think this will lead to whatever happened. You can see this is where they went 3 wide. So I don't know. I think the 25 might not have caused this, but he definitely was in it.
And that's the thing.
Side by side with the 4, Brian Johnson.
He's already missing his front end prior to the incident.
He definitely is. Oh, that looks like we've somehow switched over to the Chris James cam. He's not even racing right now. Not sure why that just happened. Did we lose the driver we were just watching? That was the 25. Well, it seems like we've lost track of the car we were. Well, maybe this is.
Ooh, look at that. Who's that
was
at the
before.
bottom?
I think that was Randy Belk.
Man, that's rough.
So I'm not sure.
So Greg Carr, at the end of that one, ultimately ended up with the repairs required flag. The 25 car, Greg Carr. Still, Brian.
100%. No, I mean that's true. I just don't know what actually started the actual wreck, because that we didn't really get to the bottom of that. We just went to the 2 and saw him having some type of issue. I don't know. I'm gonna try to find out and see if I can at least describe what happened.
Totally get it. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that so if you're Derek Heitman, you taking the high line or you taking the low line?
Oh, okay, yep. I see exactly what happened. The 25 of Greg Carr got spun by Brian Johnson or vice versa. So we were right on the track to see this accident, but unfortunately I think we got somehow miscommunicated or miscombobulated.
Discombobulated.
So it definitely was involving the 4 and the 25. That's what led to the initial crash and the caution. It was a 3 wide scenario right in front of them that I think got them a little bit discombobulated. And this is going to lead to that green-white checkered scenario. Derek Heitman, you said, do you choose top side? I think Derek does choose the top here. Well, maybe not. Chooses the bottom. I'm wrong.
Well, I think he's gonna at that point he controls the pace and the race into turn 1, so he will be ascending to come onto that high line before he goes into the turn 1, and where he knows he's not going to get jumped by anybody on the bottom. It makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I don't know. I feel like he would have had a better chance to get lined up with Shane Parrish, but I guess either way they're going to be able to count. You know, he'll be able to count down Parrish so they can line up together.
Yep. Because Parrish can totally stack up on him, but he knows exactly when he's going to take off, and he's just racing. He's racing Parrish to turn 1. I think by then he's already up in front of him. He is going to try, in my opinion, to just totally stump him on the launch. And the big thing is look at the gap that these guys are holding further back in the line. If you're the 14 and you don't close that gap up, if you're not right there and you anticipate that, you don't have the opportunity to make that distance up. Because by the time your reaction time goes into place, that's going to be magnified.
And here we go into the Geico restart zone, green-white checkered. Now this is the only attempt at a green-white checkered. So if caution comes out, race is over. And And they are almost 3 wide further back as Derek Heitman tries to boot, scoot, and boogie his way to a win.
Yeah, he did just that, man. He got him on the launch. He got up to the high line. They're still 3 wide in the back. I mean, we're 3 wide for 14th place, right?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And if a caution comes out, if they wreck and a caution comes out,
That's
Derek
it.
Heitman wins. White flag is out. Next flag ends it
They're
no matter
4
what.
wide.
Oh, been banging, racing under the apron here. But Derek Heitman, he's going to exit onto the back stretch. Now enters 3 and 4. This would be the chance. If anybody makes a move now,
And there it is. Big tear up in the back of the field there.
and
They
Derek
were.
Heitman will win this race.
Sorry, they were 4 wide for 14th back there.
Yeah, they were
still
racing
tearing
hard,
cars up.
and that is going to be it.
They're still
Checkered
wrecking.
flag is out. As of course, we can go back there and look at that 3 wide mess or 4 wide mess there at the end and see exactly what was going on. And you see right there, I think that's the 44 Randy Drumhiller, Miller Bonds. A lot of drivers, I gotta be honest, are gonna be very upset after this race. Who wouldn't?
About what? I mean, well, I'm just
Others
asking,
gonna be
like,
mad at
what?
each other.
Okay.
I mean, I can't imagine these drivers just having a civil conversation after all of that has happened in this race.
I'm going to bed.
Well, let's go ahead and run down through the results here. You can see the 76 out there burning it down. I don't think we have a view of that. But on the live screen, he is burning it down right now with his teammate Shane Parrish. Of course, yeah, let's watch them burn it down for just a second. Give them a little bit of some time to burn it down and show us a little bit of a smoke show. What an awesome performance for Derek Heitman. He's able to survive with a fairly, I don't think he's got a lick of damage on that race car. Derek Heitman wins this race. Shane Parrish finishes in 2nd place. Brandon Pasalacqua finishes in 3rd. What a rebound for him. 4th place, Blair Holloman. 5th, Evan Longacre. Really great job to him. Tanner Marty, first race here tonight, finishes 6th. That's a really good first race. 7th place, Randy Mullins. 8th, Jeffrey Ford. 9th, David Centeni. And 10th, Mark Sanchez.
11th place is going to be Adam Sandler Carr. 12th, Cody Colley. 13th place, Matt DeCiani. 14th, Paul Olsen. 15th shows Jose Medina. 16th, Derek Jacobs. Randy Drumhiller in 17th. Greg Wachinski, 18th. Miller Bonds in 19th. And John Binder rounds out the top 20.
Of course, 21st is going to be Randy Belt. 22nd, I do believe Jay Hone. Kenny Powell in 23rd. J.C. Evans, 24th. Greg Carr in 25th. 26th, Brian Johnson. 27th is Chris Johnson. Darren Mullins in 28th. Chris James in 29th. 30th, Frank Flores. Kyle Holden in 31st. Dalton Mobley in 32nd. And, of course, yours truly in 33rd. With that, we're going to take a step away. We'll be right back with our top 3.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the iRacing Stock Car Association Super Cup Series. What a race we had tonight. It was definitely a dramatic one, and I'm sure we're going to hear probably that same tale from all of the drivers we're getting ready to talk to. First up, we're going to be talking to the 6 of Brandon Pasalaco. We talked to him earlier, won stage 1, and probably never thought you'd be back up into the top 3 with the way things were going. How you feeling, Brandon?
Yeah, lucky to come out with a decent finish for sure. First stage went great, and we worked well as a team. And man, it's tough once you lose that outside, and our team drifted back, and then it was just a matter of managing traffic and not getting caught up in one. But all of us got caught up in one, and so whatever points you could salvage after that, you take for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it just seemed like it was incredibly difficult to stay out of the crashes. I mean, what was it like trying to avoid a wreck? Was that impossible?
It was pretty hard. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to just hang out at the back of the pack and literally be the last card. I was fortunate enough to miss the last 3 wrecks, and that was the only reason why I got my track position back. And then all I did was just hang out. So, I mean, when you have the season start at 2 drafting tracks with Daytona and Atlanta, like all you can ask for is hopefully a couple stage points and hopefully a top 15 finish in both races. If you could come out both races with that, I mean, it's really not much more you can ask for. So we did that today, and I'm just glad to get the hell away from these drafting tracks for a little bit.
Well, I feel like maybe this track's not. I don't know. I think I think Daytona was fine, but this track just seemed like it was incredibly difficult to pass. And if you were going to try to
Mhm.
pass, you kill everybody. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's tough through a tri oval, right? The runs just die, and we're all just jamming into each other, and you have to get on the brakes. So we're all going different speeds, and then when you do that, the car drifts up or left or right. So it's really hard, and that's why you saw everybody, all the leaders, migrate to the top side. It's a lot easier to manage that the checkups. So it's a tough track for sure. I think we had the most cars in the fields than we've had in a long time today. So you put all those factors together, and this is what you get sometimes. But I know we'll put on a great show next week at Vegas.
yeah, now that's going to be more like your classic mile and a half. So, are you excited about that one? You've been working on it a lot.
Yeah, haven't done any work for it yet. Had a good runs there last year, so looking forward to that for sure. Mile and a half, like I struggled at last year. It wasn't my strongest suit. I'm a little bit better at these road courses and drafting tracks, to be honest with you. But we have a good team, so we'll work on a setup that we all feel comfortable with, and hopefully we have a good run.
All right, Brandon. Who could we give a shout out after your third place finish and great rebound?
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, just a shout out to the Paradigm Motorsports boys, Brian, Randy, Chris today. I know we all got stuck in a little bit of trouble, but we'll fight back next week. And Josh hasn't been able to make the last 2 weeks with his vacation at Daytona. So just want to give out shout out to him. Uh, Great job to Derek and Shane on 1-2 finish for you guys. It's I know that you guys are running Road to Pro a lot, so it's great when you guys come back in the field and hang out with us on the off weeks. So and then want to thank Kenny and everything he does for the league. And then you guys in the booth, you guys do a hell of a job, and we appreciate you doing it.
All right, thanks, Brandon. We'll see you next week.
Copy. Thank you.
All righty, that was Brandon Passalacqua, driver of the 6 machine. Next up, Big Al is going to be standing by with Shane Parrish.
Shane Parrish, Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Got you, Big Al. How you doing?
Man, doing pretty good. Long time no talk.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Man, so congratulations first off on your second place finish. So why don't you tell us, man, what have you been up to and what are your plans here for this 2024 season?
Well, I've been just doing a lot, working on a truck build, big truck build, personal life, nice street show truck, but working on that. And now this 2024, just want to finish the best I can, do the best I can, race as clean as I can, and try to get back into some of these podium finishes.
Yeah, speaking of podium finishes, you did find yourself out front for the majority of the competition. What are you thinking about these packed fields in the ISCA?
Well, yeah, ISCA is a great league. Thank Kenny for that. He always puts on a good show. You guys up in the booth do such a great job. That's one of the reasons I joined again. I wasn't going to join any leagues this year, but I just decided to join back, and Randy helped me with a little bit of that. Said you should come on back, so I did. But we got out front, and once the 3 and 4 of us got hooked up, I mean, we were just flying. The cars felt really great together. I think we were untouchable until my screw up, and the bottom line started coming in. And like a driver, you should listen to the cars when you're drafting down, not look down. And look down, I bumped Matt. So I apologize to Matt again. I apologize probably a dozen times, feel bad. And I feel just as bad for all the cars that wrecked behind me. So all you guys that were involved back there, I apologize. And Kenny, enjoy putting that one beside my name because I deserve it.
Yeah, Roger that, man. I'm going to tell you, from up here in our perspective, it definitely looked like old times. So next week, we're headed to Las Vegas. New crew, new you. What can we expect to see?
Well, I'm not real great at the mile and halves, as you guys know. I'm more better at the mile and under, getting a little bit better at the drafting track. So I'm not sure how we're going to be. I'm going to do a lot of practice, do some, I have an hour training set up on Saturday with Mr. Conti. So hopefully that will help me a bunch, and I'll pick brain and Patrick's brain, and hopefully those guys will give me some tips as well.
It's good to see Team Conti back out there tonight, running strong and running long, man. So before we let you go, who you shouting out tonight for your second place finish?
Well, I definitely want to, shout out to Matt. He did a great job, and Derek on his win for letting us all together and teaming up and drafting together as we did. And, Randy let me up there a couple times. Appreciate it, Randy. I couldn't reciprocate back to him. Kind of getting really bumped really hard there, so I had to just go. But I want to thank Team Conti mainly. Michael Conti does a great job with these setups. We work on them real hard all week long, and the entire team, everybody puts their 2 cents worth in, and we come out with the best that we can, and we just keep adjusting all week long if needed. I just so grateful to be part of the team, and look forward to what we're going to do this year.
Man, great to see you again. Can't wait to talk to you again as well. Congratulations for your second place finish. Hope to see you, and as I always say, don't party too hard. This is Big Al, man. Enjoy yourself.
Big Al, you never can party hard enough, but I understand, and you guys have a great night in the boot. Thank you. I got to go. I got a 3-hour drive tomorrow morning early.
Roger that. Rise and shine.
Alrighty, that was Shane Parrish, driver of the 66 machine, finishes in second place. Next up will be his teammate Derek Heitman. Man, Derek, you had a real good run tonight. I mean, it just seemed like you were one of the only cars that could really stay clean compared to some of the other ones. I mean, this is a doozy of a race. Walk us through what was going through your mind during this race.
First stage, I was just kind of riding, hoping everybody was able to keep their car clean, and luckily everybody, for the most part, was. I tried to move on the outside to get some stage points through the tri-oval, and I shouldn't say I got tight. One of the Mullins put a really good block on me in the center of 1 and 2 and took my air away. They seen me doing it, and it kind of put me up in the wall. Stage 2, to be honest, I found Matt's bumper, and then once Matt and I got together, I'm just a really aggressive pusher. So we were able to clear off the bottom and move to the top, and just kind of control the race from there.
Yeah, not a lot of drivers were able to really do that. The bottom line seemed to be something that was very difficult to really get to move like that. What were the secrets to be able to do that?
Big balls.
I see. Okay. I mean, it seems very difficult to push at this racetrack.
You gotta. I mean, this racetrack though, once you come off the corner, the car unloads pretty good. So you feel the rear end slide out a little bit. So, I mean, if you push somebody in the wrong spot, or you're pushing a little too aggressive when you shouldn't be, and you're not controlling the throttle right, I mean, you're just gonna end up turning the guy in front of you. So, I mean, it takes a lot of practice to be able to get the bottom to work like that. But I mean, like I said, once we got up, and unfortunately there was a lot of calamity behind me. I seen a lot of wrecks in my rearview mirror, some of which I wish I wouldn't have seen. I was trying to do my best to keep Kenny Powell up at the front with me because I felt like he was going to be a good friend to have, and calamity kept happening. And then I was fortunate to have Shane Parrish fall in my lap back on my back bumper to seal the deal.
Yeah, because it seemed like for a little bit there, you almost lost all your friends for a minute. So you kind of had to make friends with, unlikely, people like Kenny Powell and the guys like that. But it seemed like you guys were working very well together. And then Shane Parrish came up and, of course, got you there home. Great job to you, Derek. I mean, of course, I know Vegas is next week. Road to Pro is also there. Are we going to see you? Or are you going to be racing Road to Pro?
I will be racing Road to Pro next week, so next week's going to be an off week for me in the ISCA. But I think the plan is we're going to show up on the RTP off weeks and just run in here as something to do. We heard you talking last week, Brian, on the broadcast watching Daytona. You know, you're talking about paradigm this, paradigm that. What team's going to show up and stick at the paradigm? And well, here we are. So
That's right.
get the cameras ready. We're going to see what we can do.
I hear that. I appreciate y'all making it interesting for you. I'm sure Paradigm's probably like, man, why did Brian open his mouth? But well, how are y'all feeling about Vegas next week at the RTP?
Really good. Been putting in a lot of practice, tons and tons of practice laps. We should have a pretty good piece. I think the biggest part is going to be track position. You're going to have to qualify good because I mean it's so difficult to pass there. The trucks are very aero sensitive. You get a little lick of damage. I mean you're just riding at that. It's just I understand why they do the trucks to get into the Coke series because it really just kind of weeds out who's a clean driver, who's a smart driver, where you position yourself on the track, and it's actually a lot of fun. I've never felt so comfortable driving a truck before. Dustin Hall doing a tremendous job with the truck program. We got Kevin King on board helping out a little bit. Adam, Audie, all the TC guys that are making the setups what they are every week. So we got a good piece to show up with.
All right, so I think you've gotten right into the next portion. Shout outs. Who you want to shout out after your big win?
I got to shout out, of course, you and Big Al for last week. Talking up a big game about who's going to show up. So we had to come show up. I got to, shout out everybody in the field that raced really clean. Everybody raced really good. I mean, for the most part, I don't know what was kind of calamity was going on in stage 2, stage 3 behind me, but I mean that's just stage racing. So everybody did a good job. It was a much cleaner race than we expected for Atlanta, especially after some of the things I seen last week. But I mean that's Daytona too. So hopefully once we get past these super speedways, we'll be in really good shape again. Shout out to Team Conti. Shout out to all my teammates that were running with me tonight. Matt, Shane, Frank, Randy. I believe the Mullins bros. Father son duo. They run Team Conti stuff. So shout out to everyone out there that I have, and shout out to Kenny for putting on a good league. Really enjoy this league. Gives us something to do on a Thursday night. Good competitive racing. Everybody in here is good people.
All right, thanks, Derek. Congratulations.
Thanks again.
All righty, that was Derek Hyman, driver of the 76 Team Conti machine. Definitely very talented driver and did a fantastic job here tonight. And that's a Team Conti 1-2 with Shane Parrish. I'm sure they probably wanted some more drivers to be up there with them, but still really great race. I mean, anybody's game, I'd say, all race long, though, Big Al. I mean, I think it really had to do with teamwork tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That was the one thing that we saw, and unfortunately, in some instances, the team took out the team. So just things that we got to work on getting better at. But one thing that we are getting better at, Brian, and that is just the camaraderie. And so with that, man, thank everybody for taking time out of your schedules to come out here tonight and just do this, man. It's just awesome. I really just love this group for that.
Yeah, no, it's a ton of fun to come in here and call these races. I mean, you never know what you're going to expect. And I got to be honest, I have a lot of the same feelings that a lot of these other drivers or these drivers have, though. Time to get away from these plate tracks and go to a classic mile and a half, Las Vegas. Make sure you tune in next week, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we're going to be starting the broadcast. That's when we'll be going live. The actual race itself, green flag will fly a little after 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We definitely look forward to it. It's going to be, I do believe, another 163 laps, so another 250-mile race. And that one's going to be interesting. Tire wear is going to mean a whole lot more. The setup, I think, is going to matter a whole lot more as well. The driver's going to matter. I think it's going to be quite a fun show for sure. I'm looking forward to it. Of course, my name is Brian Britt. We do appreciate Big Al being the best co-commentator that one can ask for, as well as I want to give a shout out to Kobe Jordan for doing a fantastic job producing here tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
I found the ISCA after I'd been in the service for a long time. I'd been in iRacing for well over a decade and spent most of my time in NASCAR series, a lot of fixed racing for the most part, and really just got to a point in my iRacing career where I really wanted to get involved in open setup racing versus fixed, partially because I was just looking for a little higher level of competition, you know, maybe a little cleaner driving and maybe get away from some of the challenges that go along with fixed racing on the service. And it took me a while as I was really searching out leagues because I kind of had a very specific thing I was looking for. A, I wanted to be an established league. You know, B, I just really wanted clean, quality drivers to be racing around. And once I found the ISCA, I found out really quick that it was going to check all those boxes, and I've been with the ISCA ever since.